Chapter 7. Well, so it goes, J.R. Isidore thought as he stood clutching his soft cube of margarine. Maybe she'll change her mind about letting me call her Pris. And possibly, if I can pick up a can of pre-war vegetables, about dinner too. But maybe she doesn't know how to cook, he thought suddenly. Okay, I can do it. I'll fix dinner for both of us. And I'll show her how, so she can do it in the future if she wants. She'll probably want to, once I show her how. As near as I can make out, most women, even young ones like her, like to cook. It's an instinct. Ascending the darkened stairs, he returned to his own apartment. She's really out of touch, he thought, as he donned his white work uniform. Even if he hurried, he'd be late to work and Mr. Sloat would be angry. But so what? For instance, she's never heard of Buster Friendly. And that's impossible. Buster is the most important being alive. Except, of course, for Wilbur Mercer. But Mercer, he reflected, isn't a human being. He evidently is an archetypal entity from the stars superimposed on our culture by a cosmic template. At least that's what I've heard people say. That's what Mr. Sloat says, for instance. And Hannibal Sloat would know. Odd that she isn't consistent about her own name, he pondered. She may need help. Can I give her any help? He asked himself. A special? A chicken head? What do I know? I can't marry and I can't emigrate, and the dust will eventually kill me. I have nothing to offer. Dressed and ready to go, he left his apartment, ascended to the roof where his battered used hovercar lay parked. An hour later, in the company truck, he had picked up the first malfunctioning animal for the day, an electric cat. It lay in the plastic dust-proof carrying cage in the rear of the truck and panted erratically. You'd almost think it was real, Isidore observed as he headed back to the Van Ness Pet Hospital, that carefully misnamed little enterprise which barely existed in the tough competitive field of false animal repair. The cat, in its travail, groaned. Wow, Isidore said to himself, it really sounds as if it's dying. Maybe its 10-year battery has shorted and all its circuits are systematically burning out. A major job. Milt Borogrove, Van Ness Pet Hospital's repairman, would have his hands full. And I didn't give the owner an estimate, Isidore realized gloomily. The guy simply thrust the cat at me, said it had begun failing during the night, and then I guess he took off for work. Anyhow, all of a sudden the monetary verbal exchange had ceased. The cat's owner had gone roaring up in the sky in his custom new model handsome hovercar, and the man constituted a new customer. To the cat, Isidore said, "Can you hang on until we reach the shop?" The cat continued to wheeze. "I'll recharge you while we're en route," Isidore decided. He dropped the truck towards the nearest available roof and there, temporarily parked with the motor running, crawled into the back of the truck and opened the plastic dust-proof carrying cage, which, in conjunction with his own white suit and the name on the truck, created a total impression of a true animal vet picking up a true animal. The electric mechanism within its compellingly authentic style grey pelt gurgled and blew bubbles. Its vid lenses glassy, in metal jaws locked together. This had always amazed him. These disease circuits built into false animals. The construct which he now held on his lap had been put together in such a fashion that when a primary component misfired, the whole thing appeared not broken, but organically ill. It would have fooled me, Isidore said to himself as he groped within the ersatz stomach fur for the concealed control panel. Quite small on this variety of false animal. Plus the quick charge battery terminals. He could find neither. Nor could he search very long. The mechanism had almost failed. If it does consist of a short, he reflected, which is busy burning out circuits, then maybe I should try to detach one of the battery cables. The mechanism will shut down, but no more harm will be done. And then in the shop, Milt can charge it back up. Deftly, he ran his fingers along the pseudo-bony spine. The cables should be about here. Damn expert workmanship. So absolutely perfect an imitation. Cables not apparent even under close scrutiny. Must be a wheelwright and carpenter product. They cost more, but look what good work they do. He gave up. The false cat had ceased functioning, so evidently the short, if that was what ailed the thing, had finished off the power supply and basic drivetrain. That'll run into money, he thought pessimistically. Well, they evidently hadn't been getting the 3 times yearly preventative cleaning and lubricating, which made all the difference. Maybe this would teach the owner the hard way. Crawling back in the driver's seat, he put the wheel into climb position, buzzed up into the air once more, and resumed his flight back to the repair shop. Anyhow, he no longer had to listen to the nerve-wracking wheezing of the construct. He could relax. Funny, he thought. Even though I know rationally it's a fake, the sound of a false animal burning out its drivetrain and power supply ties my stomach in knots. I wish, he thought painfully, that I could get another job. If I hadn't failed that IQ test, I wouldn't be reduced to this ignominious task with its attendant emotional byproducts. On the other hand, the synthetic sufferings of false animals didn't bother Milt Borogrove, or their boss Hannibal Sloat. So maybe it's I, John Isidore said to himself. Maybe when you deteriorate back down the ladder of evolution as I have, when you sink into the tomb world slough of being special, well, best to abandon that line of inquiry. Nothing depressed him more than the moments in which he contrasted his current mental powers with what he had formerly possessed. Every day he declined in sagacity and vigor. He and the thousands of other specials throughout Terra, all of them moving toward the ash heap, turning into living kibble. For company, he clicked on the truck's radio and tuned for Buster Friendly's Ord Show, which, like the TV version, continued 23 unbroken warm hours a day. The additional 1 hour being a religious sign-off, 10 minutes of silence, and then a religious sign-on. Glad to have you on the show again, Buster Friendly was saying. Let's see, Amanda. It's been 2 whole days since we visited you. Starting on any new pics, dear?
Well, I was going to do a pic yesterday, but, well, they wanted me to start at 7. 7 a.m.?
Buster Friendly broke in.
Yes, that's right, Buster. It was 7 a.m.
Amanda Werner laughed her famous laugh, nearly as imitated as Buster's. Amanda Werner and several other beautiful, elegant, conically breasted foreign ladies from unspecified, vaguely defined countries, plus a few bucolic so-called humorists, comprised Buster's perpetual core of repeats. Women like Amanda Werner never made movies, never appeared in plays. They lived out their queer, beautiful lives as guests on Buster's unending show, appearing, Isidore had once calculated, as much as 70 hours a week. How did Buster Friendly find the time to tape both his Ord and Vid shows? Isidore wondered. And how did Amanda Werner find time to be guest every other day, month after month, year after year? How did they keep talking? They never repeated themselves, not so far as he could determine. Their remarks, always witty, always new, weren't rehearsed. Amanda's hair glowed, her eyes glinted, her teeth shone. She never ran down, never became tired, never found herself at a loss as to a clever retort to Buster's bang-bang string of quips, jokes, and sharp observations. The Buster Friendly show, telecast and broadcast over all Earth via satellite, also poured down on the emigrants of the colony planets. Practice transmissions beamed to Proxima had been attempted in case human colonization extended that far. Had the Selander 3 reached its destination, the travelers aboard would have found the Buster Friendly show awaiting them, and they would have been glad. But something about Buster Friendly irritated John Isidore. One specific thing. In subtle, almost inconspicuous ways, Buster ridiculed the empathy boxers. Not once, but many times. He was in fact doing it right now. "No Rupniks on me," Buster prattled away to Amanda Werner. "And if I'm going up the side of a mountain, I want a couple of bottles of Budweiser beer along." The studio audience laughed, and Isidore heard a sprinkling of hand claps. "And I'll reveal my carefully documented exposé from up there. That exposé coming exactly 10 hours from now." "And me too, darling," Amanda gushed. "Take me with you. I go along, and when they throw a rock at us, I protect you." Again the audience howled, and John Isidore felt baffled and impotent rage seep up into the back of his neck. Why did Buster Friendly always chip away at Mercerism? No one else seemed bothered by it, even the UN approved. And the American and Soviet police had publicly stated that Mercerism reduced crime by making citizens more concerned about the plight of their neighbors. Mankind needs more empathy, Titus Corning, the UN Secretary General, had declared several times. Mankind needs more empathy, Titus Corning, the UN Secretary General, had declared several times. Maybe Buster is jealous, Isidore conjectured. Sure, that would explain it. He and Wilbur Mercer are in competition. But for what?